Hello, my name is Aaron Evans. I'm giving you this speech today, for which I have no cards, on myself, introducing myself to you. Now, I don't feel very well, and I've been clearing my throat a lot because of my sinuses, but hey, what can you do? So, without further ado, first, one of the most important things about me, at least right now, is that I am a gunnery sergeant in the Marine Corps. What does that mean? To some people, it's no more than E7. That's what I am, an E7 in the Marine Corps. But a gunnery sergeant has a little bit more history and tradition than that. Actually, gunnery sergeants were in charge of the guns on ships back in history in the early Marine Corps days. I don't have exact dates or time periods, but they were in charge of the guns, hence the name, gunnery sergeant. And even to this day, Marines occupy and guard Navy vessels as they go out to sea and provide internal security. So there's your piece of Marine Corps history. Another thing about a gunnery sergeant is that we can supervise pretty much any job in the Marine Corps, from grunts to, which is infantry, to maintenance, like I do right now, electronics, radios, telephones, computers. I can supervise those kind of Marines as they do their job. I can supervise working parties. I can supervise Marines as they shoot rifles, pistols, machine guns, and all manner of other weapons. So pretty much I'm qualified to supervise almost anything. The other beautiful thing about being a gunnery sergeant is that I'm responsible for holding all ranks pretty much accountable for their actions. Now, I can't really punish anybody above my rank, but I am capable and expected of sharing differing views from their own and sharing solutions to possible problems and all kinds of things for those above my rank, and holding them accountable for some of the things they say and do that may be unprofessional. Now, the Marines under me, of course, I'm supposed to hold accountable as well. I keep them acting right, doing what they're supposed to do. And I'll get into that a little bit later as I talk about the hats I wear in my current job. Excuse me. uh, Another beautiful thing about being a gunnery sergeant is that all other gunnery sergeants are my friend. That no matter where I go or what I need, as long as am able to talk to another gunnery sergeant, then I'm able to make some stuff happen. I also, of course, convey the same courtesy to other gunnery sergeants that need something from me. I give them my full attention, the benefit of the doubt, see where they're coming from, and it doesn't matter from the worst situations you can imagine to the best situations. Gunnery sergeants are instantly my friend and give me the same benefit of the doubt as I give them. And it's amazing. It's like a miracle. So I'm a gunnery sergeant. I explain a little bit about what that means to me and what that means really for anybody who's a gunnery sergeant. Now the other part of being a gunnery sergeant is I can a lot of times fit into a lot of other jobs that normally I wouldn't be doing. And so today I'm going to discuss some of the hats I'm wearing currently in my current job, and it will give you a little bit baseline about me, a little bit more understanding about what I do. So I've got my hats lined up here. Now these ranks or roles don't necessarily wear these hats. Matter of fact, usually don't, but this is just to symbolize. Now this is one of the first hats I wear. I'm going to call this my OIC hat, Officer in Charge. Right now I'm the officer in charge for Headquarters Platoon at my company, and what that means is, well, I have to talk a little bit more about what it means in a minute. I don't want to get ahead of myself. So that's one hat I'm going to be talking about briefly in a minute. Another hat I wear is the hat of being an RO, responsible individual. In other words, I can't get ahead. Don't let me get ahead. Okay? So that's the second hat I want to talk about in a minute in greater detail. And the last hat is my Staff and COIC hat. Uh-oh. I don't think you guys can hear me very good. Well, let's finish it anyway. It'd be a good practice time. So this is my staff and CIC hat right here, the one I wear when I'm being a staff and CIC. I'm going to go into a little bit greater detail now on each one of these. Let's put on my OIC hat while I talk about being an OIC. OIC is an officer, usually has something shiny on their collars, right? I don't. I have a black gunnery sergeant chevron. Represents that I'm enlisted and that I'm E7. And all the other things that being gunnery sergeant meant I talked about a minute ago. But when I'm the OIC, I have two main weapons. First one is politics. Politics, I know we don't like to talk about politics, especially with the government, and you know, they say one thing out this side of their mouth and another thing out that side of their mouth, and you know, don't do anything but really say stuff sometimes. So I mean, yeah, that's worst case scenario, but politics are really meant to bring about consensus, a clear direction of where a unit is going and what you're trying to accomplish, what your mission is. So that's their main weapon, is politics. They do what they do to get a clear direction and to get something done. Okay, the other thing, their second weapon is ambition. Ambition, they are driven. They're driven to accomplish stuff. They're driven to be the highest ranking officer they can be. They're driven to be the most powerful person they can be, to make the most money. For whatever reason, they are driven. And those two weapons that I am summarizing as their two primary weapons, politics and ambition, are very useful for them in accomplishing their job. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the next hat that I wear. This is the hat of being a responsible officer. Okay, being a responsible officer isn't as goofy as this hat can appear, but being a responsible officer, there's two main weapons that I'm going to talk about with this as well. The first one is the CMR. And like most military acronyms, it actually doesn't seem to mean anything once you spell it out, but CMR stands for Consolidated Memorandum Receipt. Basically, it's a listing of all the equipment that my unit uses, my company uses. And this CMR that I currently hold is right around $31 million of all kinds of equipment that I have to keep track of. I have to know where it's at, what building it's by, what parking lot it's sitting in, and I have to go through quarterly at least and verify that it's all there, where it's supposed to be, and then sign at the end saying it's all there. If it's not, then I'll pay for it. Which obviously, I don't know if you looked at the military pay scales lately, but I don't have $30 million, so I got to be careful and take care of it. So that's the first weapon. Secondary weapon is paperwork as an RO. Nobody gets anything from me. Nobody gives me anything, adds it to my CMR, without the appropriate paperwork, which is signed by the appropriate person. So not just anybody can sign, but somebody that's approved and is responsible enough to be a responsible officer themselves. Which responsible officer is almost an oxymoron when you see how some people take care of their CMRs. But that's another point for another speech. So the last hat, I changed cards, time to change hats, is my Staff and CIC hat. Staff and CIC basically takes charge of the Marines underneath him, makes them accomplish what they're supposed to accomplish, but at the same time balances out their concerns, their morale issues, you know, medical, mental, whatever issues they have, tries to balance them out to make sure the mission is accomplished and that they're taken care of and not just railroaded. I'm not trying to accomplish the mission at all costs to where I have no Marines alive when I'm done. So I'm trying to balance everything out. So my two main weapons, excuse me, for this job are my eyes and my mouth. Okay, my eyes is the first one. A lot of times that's all I need. I'll walk into my work section and I look at somebody. They're doing something wrong, especially I keep looking at them. Then usually they feel me looking at them and they stop whatever they're doing and they go do what they're supposed to be doing. They stop goofing off. So that's usually what happens. My eyes are usually all I need as my main weapon as far as staff and CIC. Matter of fact, I periodically walk through all the sections that I'm responsible for at my building to make sure that my Marines stay working. That's probably half my job. Doesn't sound like much, but anyway, so the second half of my job, or the second weapon I use, excuse me, is my mouth. Now you might think, what do you do with your mouth? It's going to make them regret what they're doing, or straighten up, or behave, or what's going to about your mouth is going to allow you to be a good staff and CIC. Well, I can give you a demonstration. I'm glad you asked. Let's say I find my young Marine sitting behind a computer looking at Facebook when he's supposed to be inventorying, equipment. So I walk up and say, "Excuse me, what do you think you're doing? Don't you have a task to do? Didn't I just give you something to do?" Yeah, I was just taking a break." "Oh, so you got time to take a break. So you must already be done. Let's see what you've got done." "You haven't done any of it." "Well, I really didn't have enough time before lunch." "Oh, okay. Well, that's no problem. I can fix that too. Why don't we go ahead and take away an hour of your lunchtime. Now you get 30 minutes. That gives you a little bit more time. So now you can get started. And if that's not enough time, then I can also extend it till 6 o'clock this evening as well. So I can give you plenty of time. That's no big deal. And you don't have enough to do? Because we can get you started buffing in here. It looks like it could be buffed, swept, buffed, mopped. And then when we get done with here, we can go to another room and do that too. Usually that elicits, the attention that I require and the attention to the task that I require. So there's my main weapons: my eyes, my mouth. My mouth kind of complements my eyes, because now all I have to do is look at that Marine for the rest of the day, at least, probably for the rest of the week, and he will snap to whatever he was supposed to be doing. So now you can understand how those are my weapons for that role. Well, I appreciate your attention as I took a look at the different roles I do and the rank I am, which kind of does define a lot of what I do and some of who I am. There's a whole lot more to who I am, but we only have so much time for the speech, so what can we do? But I thank you for your attention, and I look forward to hearing all your speeches during this class. Thanks. Bye.